Good morning. JLR investigates. Come on in, everyone. Continuous coverage of the Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers case. Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers is still missing, folks. So as we start, always on JLR Investigates, we want to put the image of Sebastian out there. If you have any credible information that can help find Sebastian Rogers, contact the Tennessee Borough Investigation, Sumner County Sheriff's Office, or the FBI. There is a $50,000 reward. The reward is out, folks. So money talks. Hopefully someone will talk. Loose lips sink ships. We're going to talk about this case because, I feel, and you guys have different opinions, right? We're talking about opinions mixed with facts, and we're talking about this case and bringing awareness to this case. But my personal thoughts at this time is, Sebastian was either kidnapped or murdered by someone. And I believe, my opinion, it was someone, within his family, somebody working with his family or someone within his family. Somebody did something to Sebastian. I don't think he just wandered off on his own and ran away barefooted or run away and everything like that. I was open-minded, but this reward has changed the tune for me. How about you? Does anyone out there still feel like Sebastian ran away? Got a lot of people in the chat. And I titled this video Seth's Shady Past. So we're not just going to talk about Seth's Shady Past, which we titled the video Seth's Shady Past. And I know some people in the comments are like, why don't you talk about Chris and Katie? We're going to talk about Chris and Katie too. We're going to talk about Chris and Katie too. And we're also going to talk about Seth. We're going to talk about everyone because in my mind, everyone is a suspect. Everyone is a suspect in this case, including Chris and Katie, not just Seth. But I think we have to try to go and start digging in deeper on all of them to understand who's involved here. Who did what with Sebastian? Was it one of the parents? Was it one of the parents? Was it Seth Rogers? Was it Chris or Katie? This old case has brought factions of people picking sides. I kind of did it at the beginning. I kind of was like Team Seth and gravitating towards Seth until my eyes opened up a little bit more being there. At first I was very hard on the Proudfoots. I had a conversation with someone yesterday about this case that's covering this case pretty good too. Really good conversation. I like to talk to other people that are invested in this case to pick people's brains and get where people are at in this case. And, at the beginning stages, I was really, really hard on the Proudfoots. But understanding a little bit more, I kind of pumped the brakes a little bit. By learning more, talking to more, I think I had some blinders on a little bit, and maybe I still have blinders on. But I'll be honest, folks, we're not gonna really show. I'm not gonna really. What I'm gonna say at this point is, he is rising up my list of suspicion quickly. As the more I've learned and the more I've analyzed, I come up with my opinion. Again, you guys can have your opinion all you want. I'm gonna have mine, and I'm using my platform to share my opinion. I'm going to use my platform to share my thoughts on this. But man, folks, please, I encourage all of you. And some people are saying, move on from this case. No, we're not going to move on from the case. The case is just getting started. Someone did something with Sebastian. So why would we just abandon this case now? Why would we abandon the case and just abandon 6 months after there's no answers on Sebastian? And all three of the family members are suspect. I'm not abandoning the case. We're going to talk about it. We're going to analyze. We're going to figure out what really happened. And it is a lot about the family that led up to what happened to Sebastian. The family plays a huge part in this. Absolutely. Family plays a huge part with this. So we're analyzing. Man, red flags are coming across the board off my radar currently. Now, my mind is always subject to change. Change my mind. You ever see that booth where the person says, so-and-so is guilty, change my mind? They sit there with a cup of coffee. I think it was like Steven Crowder or something like that. It's a meme, right? It's a meme, you know, the table and the coffee drinking. It says so and so and so and so so and so. Change my mind. Big red flags here, folks. Big red flags. I present with you red flag question number 1 with Seth. And I want to focus on Seth in this particular talk. We're going to talk about Proudfoots too. We're going to talk about everybody. I presented this question in the group of the mysterious disappearance of Sebastian Wayne Rogers. Big group. Lot of minds. 37,000 people watching this case. And I presented this question yesterday, and a lot of people responded to this question. This was the question I presented in reference to Steph. Now listen to this. Make this make sense, people. I presented this question, and I said, why isn't the Davidson County Sheriff's Office supporting Seth? I've never seen a member of a sheriff's department go through a personal crisis when the entire department didn't show up for somebody. Very telling. I think that's interesting, folks. Listen to this, folks. Seth Rogers worked, unclear because we don't know the truth here, worked, affiliated with Davidson County Sheriff's Office, works for the county sheriff's office, or worked. His son goes missing. One of the biggest missing person cases in Tennessee history. And not a peep from Davidson County Sheriff's Office in support of Seth. Oh, public, one of our employees, grieving father, needs your help to find his son. I don't see, there was a couple or one person that was worked with him that was out there looking, but no other employees. No other employees. It's crickets. Crickets. And explain to me, because usually in law enforcement, if there's a personal crisis going on with law enforcement, whether a law officer is going through something, or, an injury, or someone died or something, in the line of duty, there's always like, hey, we got to support our employee here. We got to come together here. They haven't offered, Davidson County Sheriff's Office offers no support for Seth Rogers on this case. Why? A lot of people have a lot of opinions about that. A lot of people have a lot of opinions about that. We're going to keep the conversation going. A lot of people responded to my post, and they say, I'll just give you examples. This person here, Heaven Bond. Davidson County Sheriff's Office has only shared about Sebastian twice on their Facebook page since he was missing. Here are the 2 posts. Interesting. February 26th, Davidson County Sheriff's put something out. So February 26th, the day it actually happened. Nashville Sheriff. And it's the Nashville Sheriff. Same, Davidson County. Interesting. Here's another one. February 27th. Now, those 2 dates, February 26th and 27th, so this person here responds that the Davidson County Sheriff's has only posted twice about, and this is Seth's, this is a sheriff's office. They only posted twice, February 26th and 27th. If my memory comes into play here, at that point, it wasn't even an Amber Alert, was it? Wasn't it at the beginning they were just treating it as a runaway, maybe? Interesting. So there's their response there. And this is the Davidson County Sheriff's Office right here. But nothing in support. Hey folks, our employee, Seth Rogers, our employee is going through a terrible, terrible crisis here. This is the Davidson County Sheriff's Office. Our employee, Seth, is going through a terrible, terrible crisis. We need help, support, love, prayers, anything to help our employee. Nothing. 2 posts, it looks like, on the 27th and the 26th, nothing since. Telling. I think it's telling. Do you? Or you think it's nothing and nothing? Give me your opinion on that. We're going to talk about that. Here's one. Someone gives another example. Here's what somebody says. My father
was a CO. All his friends were COs, and a majority of everyone helping and supporting him when he couldn't work anymore were COs. Definitely strange that Seth is surrounded by criminals and not COs. Now think about that too. Definitely strange that Seth is surrounded by criminals and not COs. I have never seen law enforcement distance themselves so much from a fellow officer, whether it be correctional officer or not. I just cannot get past the fact that 0 have rallied around him. None. Not only is none, no one is standing beside him. Make this make sense.
Where are all the correctional officers and all Seth's employees? Has anyone actually, someone told me within his department that he was working that day, right? Someone told me. But has anyone actually gone on the record to say about his alibi? No. No. No, they haven't. Why? It's not normal, folks. It's just not normal. That a law enforcement officer, and we'll call him law enforcement, right? He's identified himself as working law enforcement. He said those words. But no one is helping him. We'll make this make sense, people. For real. Like, come on. We have to start using some logic here. Sumner County Sheriff's Office, and he's law enforcement. He's trashing them that are investigating his son, and he's claiming that them are not providing him information about the Sebastian Rogers case, when in fact he is law enforcement himself. And that doesn't seem odd to you. It seems odd to me. Maybe it didn't seem odd to me at the time because I was side by side searching and buying maybe the water that was being sold. Take a step back, folks. People say continuously, valid points. Yup, normally they rally around a person and someone, even if it is the sheriff, goes on camera with the news asking for the community to support a seriously struggling fellow officer. Now, there was some rumor that some of the employees gave some vacation time to him so he could take off. Is that even true? That was a rumor going around. I don't know what's true and what's not. That's why we're trying to pick it apart. Trying to find this mystery out. Red flags. Red flags. Red flags. Listen to this. I want to share. I strongly encouraged people, and I would, please, folks, go back and listen to all the interviews. Go back and listen to all the interviews. These interviews that Seth gave are very telling. And sometimes he almost told on himself on things. There's a great YouTube channel that seems like just go to this YouTube channel. I'm going to play a couple clips from here. So I'm kind of giving them the shout out here because I appreciate this channel's work, what they're doing. This channel here has taken all the clips that Seth has, all interviews that Seth has said. And you're going to be mind blown when you listen to these interviews, when they put them together, and you'll see. And you're going to be shocked at the core, and you're going to come up, I think a lot of you are going to think differently. Listen to these interviews. One of the interviews here that they clipped up is when there's a YouTube channel called Pascal that was talking to Seth, and that channel right here clipped it up. I want you to listen to this.
When was the last time you had a conversation with Sebastian? How Thursday. It was Thursday. Okay, so you
Thursday before he left.
Before he disappeared, or you mean before he left?
Yeah.
Okay, so
before he left.
Okay.
He left.
Before he disappeared, or you mean before he left?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Before he left, because he's gone.
right,
I mean, he's gone.
right.
He left.
So
You know,
but how
he either
often?
left the house of his own free will, or he didn't. And you know, if
Yeah.
he went outside,
No,
I don't know what happened to him.
absolutely. So then let me ask you this then. Did you guys correspond?
Now let's remember these were the first interviews, so if you need to go back and rewind, I think you should listen to this again. Why would he answer questions the way he's answering them? Why would he say, I don't know where he went? Really?
He left.
Think
That's
about-
what Seth said. He left, and Pascal actually caught him up in that, and he's like, he left. He's like, left. Oh yeah, he left. He left when he went out. Listen to this again. Just listen to this. Listen to this.
When was the last time you had a conversation with Sebastian? How
Thursday.
It was Thursday. Okay. So you didn't
Thursday before he left.
before he disappeared, or you mean before he left?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Before he left.
okay.
He left.
Before he disappeared, or you mean before he left?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Before he left. Because he's gone.
right.
I mean, he's
He
gone.
left. He's
Right.
gone.
He
He's
left.
he left.
You know,
How
he either
often?
left the house of his own free will, or he didn't. And you know, if
Yeah.
he went outside,
He's trying to correct
I
what
don't
he's
know
saying.
what happened to him.
Absolutely. So then let me ask you this then. Did you guys correspond?
Now let's remember these were the first interviews, so if you need to go back and rewind, I think you should listen to this again. Why would he answer questions the way he's answering them? Why would he say, I don't know where he went? Really?
I'm not going to
Think
play
about
all her clips because I strongly folks, I don't really recommend channels, but if you really, I don't know, this person really has 1,000 subs. I don't really think the person's monetized like that, is not here for the money. I think the person's just there trying to get the truth. And just go to this channel. Just go to this channel. Probably channel by the time this segment is over in a day or two, this channel might get up to 5,000 subs now because we're giving it a shout out. Please just go to the channel. Go to the channel and listen to the clips. There's so many of them. There's so many interviews that Seth has given at the beginning, and it makes your mind boggle because if you just take out the ass, just trust me. Trust me. No, they're not edited. They're clipped, but they're put together, but they're their own words out of Seth's mouth. She even has an intro to this one video, and I'll just play the intro, and she's on point. I'm sorry, but she's on point.
Welcome. This is my little slice of advice, and unsolicited opinions happen here. So I want to give you a trigger warning to buckle up, buttercups, because we're going to get through this, no filter, facts matter, and have real talk on the Sebastian Rogers case. This young man from Hendersonville, Tennessee, he really captured my heart and a lot of other hearts. And I had to get back to actually covering my opinion on something different, like a true crime missing persons case. And you will understand why after you get through this series with me and you see the videos that I don't think Seth Rogers wants you to see. But I think that if you really care about Sebastian Rogers or any missing people or victims' families in general, I highly recommend that you stick around if you want to see how content creators that are all about drama and misinformation are affecting, in my opinion, the public's opinion, active child's case. I'll cover signs and things to look out for in a future video. But for now, let's go back to the beginning of Seth Rogers and what has really been said. And I am bringing receipts, everybody. So welcome to my first video in the series, The Missing Truth. I just can't sit back watching the latest content cover up any longer. Not after I just learned that people are putting out calls to action to start protesting in the demands that Seth Rogers be cleared and named not a suspect in the Sebastian Rogers disappearance. I couldn't believe it. Why would anybody be rushing law enforcement during an active investigation? Seems absolutely nonsensical to me. I mean, we have to remember, no one has been named a person of interest. So in what way does that help an investigation go any faster in finding this young man. So I have been waiting for others to just do the right thing, but it's blatantly clear that is just not going to happen anytime soon. And I think many of you will understand what has led me to feel this way after you watch this series. After we review the videos that I do not think Seth Rogers and some of these other creators on this quote-unquote team want you to see. So let's get comfy, grab a drink or a snack. You know, if you have a Red Bull, wine, water, soda pop, whatever you like. Don't forget a stress ball. Don't forget a pillow to yell into. And make sure you have your earbuds charged.
Wow. Okay, Fuller.
Now I'm not gonna play all of it, right? You can go there yourself. But what I am gonna play is some of the clips that I think are weird and strange, that I've been going back to Seth's interviews. One, all red flags all across the board. From him saying the truck is one of the biggest red flags, where he's trying to say that it's a garbage truck and trying to change that narrative very, very quickly, because my thoughts is he doesn't want people to know that it was a vehicle that was there around 3:30 a.m. February 26th with lights, putting Sebastian in a vehicle. He wants people to say, I'm so adamant, garbage truck, it's a garbage truck, screw you, Nick Barris. I'm telling you, we met him in person, me and Magnolia, she will validate, I will. You want to believe me? You don't have to believe me. He was pissed, and excuse my language, I don't really use bad language, but he was ticked off at Nick Barris for releasing. He specifically said that, he was hot on Nick Barris releasing that to the public, because it's a clue. It's a clue, and a lot of people are starting again to hone in on that clue, considering now that the $50,000 reward, and it's common sense that Sebastian was lured out of the house or guided out of the house and taken into a vehicle. And Seth don't want that. But he just says so many weird things. Did you know, folks? Here's another red flag. I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but we've been digging deeply. This dude, Seth, they filed, Katie filed restraining orders against him, accused him of abusing Sebastian. But his own employer in California, before he moved to Tennessee and followed Katie, his own employee sued him for workplace violence. And there's a lawsuit. Now, we're going to get the details of this lawsuit very soon, because we're going to get the court documents to see exactly what it is. But Seth was sued for workplace violence. Seriously, here's the receipt. He was sued for workplace. This is a lawsuit. Seth Rogers, sued by Rancho Santa Fe Protective Services in 218, San Diego. Lawsuit is categorized as CUPTO, and I think that's paid time off. Filed 2 years after Katie Proudfoot filed a restraining order against Seth for child, you know the word, against Sebastian. And here is a lawsuit, and it was filed in 218. And it's against Seth Rogers, and it's Seth. But what's even more crazy, it's petition for workplace violence restraining order, filed by Rancho Santa Fe Protective Services, refers to a guy named Jimmy Siebel and Seth Rogers. But what that shows you, ultimately the case got dismissed. But what that shows you though is Seth Rogers has a past of being violent. And I think that's important in this mystery on what happened to Sebastian Rogers. Seth Rogers, yeah, you could go on TV and you can say I'm a grieving father and I miss Sebastian. I personally think at this point it's suspect. But at the same time, he's been accused of doing a bad thing to a child, and his own employer filed a lawsuit against him right after Katie, because the lawsuit was in 218. Katie did that stuff about the child stuff against, him against, Sebastian in 2016. It was in 2018. But the fact that it was filed paints a picture. On top of him admitting out of his own mouth that guns were taken out of his house that he hasn't had returned, which is another red flag. It's another red flag. Guns being taken away. He's being accused of child abuse. He's being accused of workplace violence. And that's not a red flag to you that his son is missing? Not at all. Nothing to see here. On top of these just bizarre interviews. And the FBI putting out a reward more or less saying that Sebastian was taken somewhere. By who, though? And why? What's the motive here? Here's another bizarre. I'm just going to share a few bizarre clips here. Here's another one.
Well, I think
this one is dealing with what we talked about yesterday. Let me go back. Because this is very important. Now, I'm going to play this again. This is we'll do the bizarre one. This is bizarre.
And how often do you meet with TBI?
If I call them all the time. Call, text, hey, any new news? They either let me know or they let me know.
Are you happy with the work that all these agencies have done, or do you think there needs to be more?
There could probably always be more. We just got to figure out what more is necessary. Am I happy with them? I'm not unhappy. But you asked me that after my son's back, and it's going to be, I'm happy. All right? Because in law enforcement, it's always goal-oriented. Go to work, put a smile on your face, get the job done.
What does that even mean? I could pick that apart all day. What does that even mean? It is so strange and bizarre. What does Sebastian like to do for fun? He was asked in a old Justin on TikTok. Justin on TikTok's a good guy. Met him in person, very nice guy. We talk occasionally offline. Great guy. He generally wants to find out answers. And I think Justin doesn't get involved with drama. He just likes to interview people all over the place and hear them out. And he was asking him in an interview, what does Sebastian like to do for fun? No. What is Sebastian's favorite thing to do? And this is Seth's response. His favorite thing to do. All the things you could do out there. This is your favorite thing to do.
And how often do you meet with TBI?
Wrong one. Hold on.
Well, I think one of the favorite things that he likes to do with me is road trips. Personally, I'm not a fan of road trips. Because he were to drive, okay? If he were to drive some, that'd be great. But I can't even get him to sit behind the wheel in the vehicle stationary. But he likes to go on road trips with me. He likes it when I take him to go. He was born in Georgia. We moved to Kansas while his mother was at Great Mistakes. And then she got stationed in San Diego. And so we drove to San Diego. And then she would leave on a deployment or a half a deployment, a third of a deployment. And we would leave the house. We'd pack everything that we were going to need into the car. And we would drive. We'd go see family. He has been coast to coast probably 6 times. Boy loves road trips. To me, they're educational. Because a road trip is never the same. You always can take a different route and see different things. And he loved it. He liked when Christmas came around or summer break. If I could get it off, road trip. We'd go down to Texas to see his grandma and his grandpa. There's multiple different ways to get there. Drive through Missouri into Oklahoma, stop and see friends on the way. I think that's one of his favorite things to do with me is road trips. Because also at the end of road trips or in the middle of road trips, there's going to fish. When my mom and dad, his grandparents lived down in South Texas, we go down there and go fish in the Gulf of Mexico. Boy, loved that. There was nothing like going on the boat to go fishing.
What did he have a favorite place that he liked to go when you guys road tripped?
He liked to go see his mom and my mom and dad. I mean, he liked.
So that's
They have-
Texas.
Yeah, he likes dogs, and they have dogs. They have a little Boston pit, and you know, they like him. He liked them. He was so heartbreaking when one of them passed on. But you know, he enjoyed it. He enjoyed seeing family. He enjoyed
Past
the
tense.
trip. He enjoyed
Past tense.
the experience of it, I believe.
A lot of past tense. Road trips. So you have Seth Rogers. Moves to Tennessee to be close to Chris and Katie, who's Chris's entire family is in Tennessee. FBI is putting out a $50,000 reward thinking Sebastian was lured out of the house. Seth has zero community ties to that area with any friends or family. His family. Supposedly got like some godparents, somebody like when he got to Clarksville, some Fleming couple that he labeled de facto godparents. But all his family's out of state. To me, the feds coming forward with a $50,000 reward implies to me that Sebastian was lured out of the house and taken somewhere, most likely to, in my mind, out of state. If I could theorize, I would be like out of state. But Seth has incentive if Seth is involved. And I'm telling you, there's red flags across the board. You would take Sebastian because he's comfortable with road trips. Hey, Sebastian, we're gonna go on a road trip. Or someone's gonna come get you, they're gonna take you on a road trip. We're gonna go on a trip. And take him out of state. It's not unusual. Not unusual at all. Because he's used to it. He's done it. Sebastian was like, where are we going? Where are we going? Goes on road trips. That's his favorite thing to do. Road trips. Favorite thing. Now, where could Seth go if Seth's involved here? If Seth's involved here. He's rising my list. I'm not going to hide that fact. But regardless, he's not a good dude. My mind is subject to change on the suspects list. Remember I said the other day, well, for a long time I said, Katie's the key. Katie still is the key. Wish she would talk. Because I think Katie would reveal some more stuff. But Katie has no history that I've seen whatsoever of domestic violence accused on her, or anything about child abuse, that she's accused of doing. It's all Seth. Chris Proudfoot's accused of doing a belt incident, but it's unclear if there was actually a report out on that, because we've never seen it. And Seth said out of his own mouth in a subsequent interview, he learned about the belt incident, he learned about the belt stuff about Chris Proudfoot after Sebastian went missing. After he went missing. He learned via the podcast, the YouTubers. Why isn't Davidson County Sheriff's backing him? Why isn't the Sumner County Sheriff's backing him? Why is he getting so brazen and so adamant to get a team of criminals around him to clear his name? Criminals around him. Or criminals and non-reputable people. Where are the reputable? What happened? Yeah, at the beginning, there was Sumner County officials out there with him holding events for Sebastian in Sumner County. At the beginning, first couple months, things have changed. I think people started waking up, or people kind of just, whoa. Let's analyze this a little bit more. Something's not making sense with this. Something is not making sense with this. So let's talk about the road trips. Where could Sebastian be? Did he go on a road trip? That's speculate. Did he go on a road trip? Did Seth arrange with someone or get someone He's at his job, right? I want to think he's at his job. My logic says he was at his job because you're at the garage, whether it's the parking garage or, inside the jail. There's conflicting information about that. But once you leave that jail, you're in downtown Nashville, and there's cameras everywhere. So authorities are going to see if Seth was really at his job or not. And I honestly want to think that he was at his job. But did Seth communicate with somebody on a burner phone? Did he communicate with people on an extra phone, a family member, someone with him, and said, Sebastian's going to come out this side, we're going to take him? I'm just saying. One thing that was interesting about this case at the beginning is Sumner County Sheriffs were asking for surveillance footage. Asking for surveillance footage in the daytime on Sunday, the 25th. They were asking for everyone to review footage, neighbors and everything, back on the 25th. And I was wondering about that. But I also want to know a little bit about his alibi before he went to work. Like, where did anyone ever ask Seth Rogers, what was your side? Like, I know we asked Katie, and Katie described her day about Colossal Popcorn and BJ's and shopping and all this place, and ended up going home after going out to eat. But has anyone ever asked what was Seth before he went to work? Before he clocked in at 6 p.m. on Sunday? Was Seth, where did he go? Where was he at? Did he go right from his house to work? From Clarksville to work? Did he stop around the neighborhood? Somebody said here in the chat, Granny's watching, says Seth was kicked off the initial command center set up to find Sebastian. Did not know that. Was he? Was he? Don't you think it's odd that authorities are not rallying behind a so-called grieving father? Nobody thinks that's a red flag at all. When he talked about surveillance, listen, when he talked about those lights, there's another video circulating out there. He actually talked to a YouTube channel named Pascal, and he was talking in depth more in details about the lights, the 3:30 a.m. lights. And he was saying stuff like, I've been in the neighborhood before. I know the angle of that camera. I'm telling you. And then I saw it in the day and I saw it at night. And you got to listen to that. I wish I would have clipped that up. YouTube channel Pascal. Seth talks at one point with an interview. Pascal interviews him. I think Pascal talked to him multiple times. But in one of the interviews with Pascal, he talks more about those lights. He's adamant that it's a trash truck. Can't convince him otherwise. Trash truck, trash truck. Why? Why does he think it's a trash truck? When we talked to a neighbor, said, no way it's a trash truck. A neighbor that lives in that neighborhood said trash trucks never, ever, ever come in that early. Ever. It's not a trash truck, folks. Those were lights. It was a vehicle. Come on. Who's he trying to fool? But when he talks to Pascal about that, red flags, red flags, red flags, red shirt, red media shirt, red flags, red media shirt. We're trying to get the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. There's red flags with this guy all across the board. All across the board. But he talks about like as if he was in that neighborhood prior and he knows the angle of where that camera came from. So my question is, we never heard about an alibi about where he was before he went to work. What did his Sunday consist of? Remember, he claims he talked to Sebastian on Thursday. That was the last time he talked to Thursday, a couple days before Sebastian went missing, a few days before Sebastian went missing. What was his routine on Friday? What was his routine on Saturday? What was his routine on Sunday going up to when he went to work? What was he doing? Did he go around the neighborhood at all? Did he go around the Proudfoot neighborhood? with him or anyone. Just him, maybe not him. Maybe they didn't even stop at the neighborhood. At that person, the person I just shared this video, this channel right here, good channel. I like the channel. I like the channel. And people out there want to get the truth. On this channel, they play a clip. One of the first few interviews that Seth talks about is cell phone jammers. Cell phone jammers. Now, it's interesting because his family passed. His family has interesting backgrounds through the Navy and security and different things. Even Seth himself, according to his public LinkedIn profile, when he arrived in Tennessee, this is the type of jobs he worked.
And these are like, it's. So I believe he got to Tennessee in the fall of 2020. It says field manager for Allied Universal. It's a security company. December 20th to August 2022. And then August 22 to February 23, account manager at Garda World. Now, you know this is Allied Universal, is like security. Garda World. Now, think about this, folks. You have a guy with a history in Tennessee with all these security companies. What is Garda World? Well, we'll look it up. His jobs are also very, very short. And then he was working at the Davidson County Sheriff. It looks like about a year and before Sebastian went missing. But what is Garda World? Because he's listed as Garda World. Does anyone know what Garda World is? I looked it up. It was actually, matter of fact, I'm almost being rhetorical there because I did look it up earlier. I just want to show you what Garda World is. Garda World. Garda World. Garda World is the, look. Garda World, Seth worked for Garda World. Garda World is the world's largest privately owned security company, offering transportation and cash vault services, physical and special security solutions with the Crisis 24 portal. Strange. And then in interviews, he's talking about cell phone jammers, security, and stuff like that. Are we talking about a plot here? Or are we talking about an innocent man here? A totally innocent man that has not been cleared by law enforcement. What's going on here? What is really going on here? What is really going on here? I said I wasn't going to play all her videos, but I want to play this clip here.
I mean, like, where do you get your? I'm just wondering, where do you get your tips and stuff from? Or is it just places that maybe? How do you kind of come up with the locations?
I've got people on the internet. People send a lot of things to my sister, to my mom, to other people that are helping me on some of these Facebook pages. And they come into me. I go through them all. And it's, before when it was just me, it was like, well, I know what I'm doing today. I'm going to check out this place, then I'm going to check out this place.
Yeah, because I think that, I mean, besides the actual searching itself, kind of just coming up with a place to search has to be difficult in and of itself. I mean, you want to search wherever you can search, but you know, without any concrete leads, it is kind of difficult.
Because I don't get the leads from that TBI and them get.
Right.
You know, I tell people, if you have leads, tell TBI. They can go search them. My sister, she gets leads from people. She sends them to me. I send them to TBI.
Right.
Same point in time, I turn around and tell TBI, I'm going here, I'm going here, I'm going here.
It sounds like that you're very... I have a sister that I'm very close with as well. It seems like that your sister's really, really, really there for you.
She's a bully.
Is she your only sister?
Yeah, she is.
Do you have brothers?
Nope.
So, that's funny. Yeah, my sister's a bully too, but she still thinks she can tell me what to do. And she still does, and I still listen to it. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's like Chris calling up or Chris telling me that I need to curb my sister or he's going to step on her toes. It was like, good luck.
When did he say that?
When he found out she started the GoFundMe.
What business is that of his?
Oh, it isn't. And he's right. We had an agreement that I wouldn't start a GoFundMe and him and Katie wouldn't start a GoFundMe.
Why was it? Can you tell me why you guys had that agreement?
Something about not making money off of Sebastian's disappearance.
Wow.
Didn't want people to think that, him disappearing was people trying to make money. And my sister asked me about the GoFundMe. I was like, I don't care. Because I'm not trying to get anything from my son missing. I am trying to find my son. And she was like, okay. I don't have social media, so I didn't even know how a GoFundMe works.
And so he called you and said...
No, I wasn't.
Oh, he said that to you face to face?
Yeah. I mean, it was his...
Is there a way people can get a hold of you in reference to communication about setting up searches, or if people want to know where to go, where can they go?
Facebook page.
And
That's your best route. Because I'm not on social media. I don't have social media, but people on there reach out to me.
Facebook page, I would most likely directly get to Seth. It's 2 exclamation marks, finding Sebastian Rogers, 2 exclamation marks. That's the easiest way to get information to Seth, is through that Facebook page.
I had hard drives fried on me, and I lost pictures. And I was like, I need someplace digital. You know what? I can use my Facebook profile and just make it private, and nobody can see it.
Yeah.
And I saved pictures there. I've got space. That's on it now. So yeah, I never really classified this as social media. To me, MySpace, that was social media. A lot better than Facebook, because at least you had to know how to code. And I have a Facebook profile and just make it private, and nobody can see it.
Yeah.
And I saved pictures there. I've got pictures of me and Sebastian at the zoo. Videos of me.
So many different stories. Oh my goodness. Let me know what you think in the comments.
Exactly. So many just saying this and then that, the total opposite. It's a bunch of word salad. It's a bunch of lies. It literally is a lie. He's literally claiming he doesn't have social media on one side, and then he says on another he does. Just like he was giving conflicted statements about Sebastian on the arrangements of Sebastian living with him. He's telling one person in an interview, Vinnie Politan, that I believe it's Vinny. Vinny was the one. He was saying, well, he was going to get Sebastian for the summer. Chris and him talked about it, and they were going to get Katie in agreement on it, but clearly saying that Katie wasn't on board with it. Then he tells another person that Sebastian was for a fact going to go live with him, not just for the summer, but full time. He was going to enroll Sebastian in school, and then Katie would get Sebastian during holidays and in the summer. And then on another interview, he says with T-Rev that it was all in agreement and Sebastian was going to go live with him in the summertime. So it's all conflicting, different stories. The stories continue to change over and over. Doesn't have social media. Does have social media. He knows a lot about, he's worked in security. He knows a lot about coding. He knows a lot about, his family's from the Navy. He has a Navy family. He speaks about his own family. His own family speaks out. But his own family said some weird stuff themselves, particularly his mom. In all of this. Now, I'm putting these videos out because Sebastian continues to be missing. My theory is Sebastian was taken out of there by someone. And my theory is starting to think it's someone involved on this family side. Him or his family. That's my theory. If you don't like it, you don't like it. Cool. But that's what we're trying to do, is figure out what's going on, because things don't make sense. Things don't make sense. It just doesn't. And now I'm starting to understand why maybe the Proudfoots have been quiet, more or less, particularly Katie. Because it's no secret that Katie is absolutely terrified and scared
of Seth. It's no secret. And maybe authorities have just instructed Katie just to shut up while we investigate this case. Or out of fear of triggering this guy, maybe they're having hope that Sebastian will get found safe and hope whoever has Sebastian doesn't do something very bad to Sebastian, whoever has Sebastian out there. And you don't want to trigger a violent person that might have Sebastian out there of doing something to Sebastian and getting rid of him and any hopes of Sebastian coming home alive. My own dealings with him, people have been sending me so much stuff about just the behavior of him in general. To me, it's like, whoa. And again, he's like, it's kind of like what I'm trying to say is, you know, my mind is subjected to change. But as you evaluate more information, and it could definitely change again. It could change if law enforcement comes out. If law enforcement comes out right now and says that Seth Rogers did nothing to his boy whatsoever, I'm going to believe law enforcement. I'm not going to sit there and challenge, question law enforcement. I actually have trust and faith in TBI and in the information that law enforcement puts out there. I actually have trust. So if law enforcement comes out and says, Seth Rogers, everyone, this person's been cleared, this person's been cleared, this person's been cleared. And if law enforcement clears this guy, and it doesn't look like they're going to clear him anytime soon the way this is going, because he's unraveling very, very quickly. He just said the other day his life is a tilt-a-wheel or something like that. But it was all about him, like angry. Not getting any communication whatsoever by law enforcement. They pushed him out of Sumner County. Nobody, public officials or any prominent people in Sumner County want to deal with him. They don't. Why? Let's take you back to his mom, Robin Rogers, because she said a lot. And she also made a confession about TBI, which I find very, very odd. Now, this is where Seth said that Sebastian liked to take road trips to his mom's house. Road trips. This is Robin Rogers. And Seth discussed his family member in that clip. He discussed his sister and his family in that clips, right? And he talked about in clips about his family and road trips. His mom was very adamant by blaming Katie. And honestly, his mom was the one that really set everybody off in the beginning stages by blaming the Proudfoots, the mom. But here's what I find interesting, because the mom has kind of just went silent on this. His mom has went silent. Ever since the mom went up to Tennessee to help, she came back and she hasn't said anything. She's been totally just silent. But she also shared that she spoke to the TBI. And this is what's interesting about this. She made this post, and we shared this before in the past. But it makes me wonder, did they interrogate her about Seth? But what would she have along? Here's why. This is why I find odd. Robin Rogers, Seth's mom, said, I had a long discussion with the special agent in charge of the TBI today. So the mother's speaking to the TBI. Now, I want to know what that conversation was. Was it the TBI questioning her? Or was it Robin Rogers calling the TBI to just inquire about her grandson? I just want to clarify a few things and hopefully help stop some of this drama. I'm so sick to death of all the trauma vultures out there and conspiracy theorists. I want all of this to stop and for the focus to be where it should be, finding Sebastian. Now, this is what I find interesting. How would Robin Rogers know this right here? 1 and 2. TBI has interviewed both Chris Proudfoot and Katie Proudfoot extensively. They have both passed their They have both been polyed and passed. How would Robin Rogers know that? How would Seth's mom know that? And then number 3 here, which is interesting. It does more harm than good to keep delving into everyone's background, which I thought was interesting because it's contradicting her making a prior statement here weeks before saying, and maybe you should look into Katie's background and her family.
This is where she's just basically blaming Chris and Katie for this. They're the biggest spin masters, where Chris is the biggest spin master and everything like that.
But it just makes me wonder, why was TBI talking to Seth's mom, who at this point hasn't really said anything? Now, is she just not saying anything because she wants to get out of the drama? She just think this is just way over my head, or maybe she's, just wants to lay low for a while. But how did the TBI, the special agent, speak to her, but Seth's not speaking to any of them at all? Or has she changed her mind after realizing what happened here and being up there and seeing Seth herself, or seeing, what's transpired herself, and sees that something's not right? A little bio. So there's a page on Robin. And I just want to bring some background into this, because we're talking about Robin Rogers and H. Wayne Rogers were married in 1983. Wayne retired from the U.S. Navy in 1988. They have one son, Seth Robert Rogers. Robin also has a daughter, Sarah L. Cook Swank, and a granddaughter, Haley. Robin's son-in-law, Christopher Swank, is active duty in the Navy. So, on Seth's side of the family, it seems like it's a Navy side of the family. We got a Navy side of the family on Seth's side of the family. We got Seth worked Allied Universal, Garda World, which is the security company, Davidson County Sheriff's Office, and the authorities thinking that Sebastian would most likely got lured out of the house, and I'm thinking there's a kidnap dealing with out of state. Sebastian taken out of state. That's just my thought. Does one of Seth's family members have Sebastian? Let's cut to the chase. Does one of Seth's family members involved with taking Sebastian out of state because Seth doesn't like the arrangements, doesn't like that Katie divorced him? A lot of people in the chat think so. I'm asking. I don't know that as a statement of fact.
But Robin Rogers, she's a smart cookie here too. And she's also admitted that let me just go back a minute before we go into her bio.
And we're going to talk about Robin, because Robin felt like she came out and talked about this case. So, and Seth has come out and talked about his family in reference to this case. So, it's not, they put themselves out there. They made some really accusations against the Proudfoot. So we're going to analyze all this and figure out what's going on. But Robin Rogers made a post at one point, and she was saying that Sebastian spoke to her about abuse, but she didn't report. She was talking on a YouTube channel. Robin, this is her, and we blocked out the other people here. But she spoke, and she said, there was a lot more than one time, and there were a lot more other abuses. Sebastian told me that he swore me to secrecy. So, do we have a situation here where the family of Seth wanted to assist Seth in getting Sebastian out of a situation because in their minds they thought Sebastian, bad things were happening to Sebastian inside the Proudfoot home, and they wanted to get Sebastian out of there to save Sebastian, to save him? I'm open-minded to that. I'm open-minded to anything until Sebastian is found, until we find out what really happened. And we're not going to go away on this. We're not going to go away. Did Seth correspond with his family and arrange for Sebastian some way, somehow, whether Seth had his alibi and masked it up so he had an alibi, and had one of his family members or someone affiliated with his family come and take Sebastian out of state, and are hiding Sebastian out of state? But maybe this thing has gotten so far out of control, they don't know what to do. No one knows what to do at this point. There's a lot of past tense talk. I don't know.
Here's a little background on Robin, his mom. This comes from Labette Community College. Robin C. Rogers receives 2004 Reward Van Beater Outstanding Alumni Achievement Award. Robin C. Rogers, MSN, NMP, at BC, CS, came to Parsons, Kansas in August of 1970. She was a broken and somewhat lost young woman who was accepted in the heart and home of William G. Sr. and Ed E. Ruth Liggins Scott. She was one of many foster children that Mommy and Poppy Scott opened their home to through the years. Now that's interesting to me. The mother, Seth's mother's the family was involved with some sort of helping foster children, like a home of children. There she found safely and built her confidence and vision for her future. She graduated from Labette County High School in 1974 and Labette County Junior College in 1975 with an associate degree in nursing. I have always remembered the wise words of all my faculty members, both academic and nursing. They have served as the pathways and guiding lights to my personal and professional growth. She was a member of the Pi Theta Kappa at LCJC. Miss Rogers completed her Bachelor of Science in Nursing and Masters of Science in Nursing at Armstrong Atlantic University, Savannah, Georgia, in 2000, where she was named the Outstanding Graduate Student from the Nursing Development. Since 1975, she had numerous positions as a registered nurse, and there was a lot of conflicting information or a lot of backlash that she received by getting the information that Sebastian shared to her in confidence and not reporting it. Some people think she committed a crime because she's, by law, a mandatory reporter. If Sebastian talked to her and said that things were going on inside that house and she didn't report it, as a man, she's a mandatory reporter. She is. So why she didn't report that, I don't understand. So basically, it reads a lot of her credentials, but it says she married H. Wayne Rogers. I'm assuming his name is Homer. In 1983, Wayne retired from the Navy in 1988. But the question is, Seth himself, I don't know what happened to his regular dad, but I think H. Wayne Rogers is his stepdad because Seth himself was born a little bit later or a little bit earlier than 1983. We won't say the actual date. They have one son, Seth Robert Rogers. And this is a man that works security. This is a man that has been accused of child A. This is a man that has a lawsuit against him for violent workplace violence. This is a man that followed Katie and Chris to Tennessee. Still unclear why. Probably to get close to Sebastian. Maybe to get even closer to Katie. This is a man that said out of his own mouth he hasn't dated anyone since the divorce with Katie. This is a man that works, law enforcement. This is a man that works different security companies. Nobody from law enforcement is backing him whatsoever. Nobody in Sumner County seems to be backing him anymore. And he is more or less isolated. Why? 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 People have also claimed, I want to put this out too, Chris Proudfoot out of his own mouth has said that those lights were a trash truck. I was just notified that. I said, remind people that Chris Proudfoot also said that those lights were a trash truck. Though he also said it was a floodlight. Now, Chris Proudfoot, we're going to talk about Chris Proudfoot a little bit. So we don't trigger everyone saying, this is all about anti-Seth and everything like that, because all of them are suspects until cleared, yes. Proudfoot himself said in the beginning interviews in this case, they had a great relationship with Seth. Me and the bio father are great. We work,
we work great in raising Sebastian, which I find very odd because Katie filed all these very serious allegations against Seth in California. They moved to Tennessee, but then Chris is saying that he's cool with the bio and no problems here. Chris communicating with Seth doesn't seem like Katie's communicating with Seth. Makes some people think that Seth and Chris are in on something. I don't know. Chris, belt incident that we've learned. Unclear if there's actual CPS reports out on Chris. Unclear what are in these reports. Seth and Tony Mathis claim they got reports, though they have never showed reports. So is there reports on Chris or not? What are in those reports? This was a post about Chris talking about the lights. Who thinks the Proudfoots are involved? Do you think Chris and Seth are in a conspiracy together? Some people have thrown out that Chris and Seth were working together because Chris wanted to get Faith there for the summer. Seth wanted to get Sebastian for the summer. So they worked out a deal together. But at the end of the day, like I said, I can't find anything really that, as crazy as this is. People have told me in that community that she's a nice, sweet person. She doesn't have any history of workplace violence. She doesn't have child abuse charges against her or allegations against her. He has allegations against him that people have been saying on the internet. I want to know if they're actually in official records or just people just taking the belt incident and running with it. And because belting a child is a controversial. I don't think you should hit a child. Personally, I just want to say I don't think anyone should hit a child with a belt at all as far as discipline. But some places that they feel like that's acceptable. But is it acceptable? Is it enough to trigger an actual investigation with CPS or DCS? But are there actual reports out on him? I want to know that. Going back to Seth and his communication on the morning Sebastian went missing, he apparently texted Seth. Seth called him back. Sebastian's missing. Oh, okay, I'll go over to the house. Now, I've said yesterday in my live that Seth knows that Sebastian has a phone. Seth has said numerous times Sebastian had a phone. Left his phone on the kitchen counter of the Proudfoot's house. But another thing, and we'll remind people again, why it's suspicion. I can understand the Proudfoots not saying anything about, because remember, they gave an interview. When they talked before Seth. They actually came out on this case before Seth. They spoke on the 3rd for the first time to Duchess. I think Trev Time was on that. It was like a thing talking about Sebastian being missing. I believe that day or earlier the next day on the 4th of March. Then they gave that 4-part interview. We went live on that interview. Or went live analyzing the interview, and we didn't know nothing about Seth. We're like, who's the biological father? Next thing we know, later on that night, a phone interview drops on the 4th. This is the first time Seth makes a grand appearance. So they came out first on the 3rd, all of them, first from the 26th all the way up to the 3rd, not a peep. They come out, 3rd, give an interview. YouTube to share to the world what happened to Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. Share that he went missing. Seth follows. But in their interviews at the beginning, they never said anything about, they have also never said anything about any chain of events. They never said they even tried to call Sebastian on his phone. Now, I'm thinking because they were in their house and they saw that his phone was laid there on the table, according to Seth. But they never really said anything about Sebastian's phone, which I found odd. Have you heard them say anything? If someone heard them say anything about Sebastian's phone, about calling it, looking into it, anything like that, shoot me a message, tips@JLR Investigating, share that source. But Seth clearly talked about the phone. But I want to know this. I want to know, once Seth received that information from Chris, while Seth is at his job, why didn't Seth call Sebastian's phone at all? Maybe he did, he just never told us. But he said he just went from his work, immediately drove to the Proudfoot's home, but he never called Sebastian on his phone to say, hey, son, where are you? Where are you? Hello, son, pick up. Or leave a voicemail message or nothing. Which I think is odd. Which I think is so odd. It's so fishy and suspect to me that a family member, look, if your child never returned home out of the house, or your child was missing and everything like that, what are you going to do? You're going to find your child and you're going to pick up. Voicemail. Oh my God, voicemail. Duh, this is mom. Where are you? We're worried. Where are you? You okay? Where are you? Pick up. Please call. Please call back as soon as you get this message. Thanks. Seth knows Sebastian has a cell phone, but Seth doesn't even call it to see where his son is at? Think it's odd to me. Think it's very, very odd to me. Now, did the authorities get a hold of Sebastian's phone and analyze it? Is there burner phones involved? Did any of the parties in this case have a burner phone? Anyone have a burner phone? At all? Seth taught him how to set alarms on his phone. Yes, Seth said that out of his own mouth. Now, some people might say, hey, Seth is revealing all of this to all of us. He has nothing to hide. But sometimes loose lips sink ships. And in this particular case, to me, I'm seeing loose lips sink ships. So much that the damage has been done, and someone brought Mathis into the mix to shut him up. Keep him quiet. Train him on what to say. Train him. Not a natural interviews anymore. Train. Very select things being said. Where's the support for Seth in that community? Because I don't see it. And I don't think we're going to see it. If we don't see it now, I don't think we're going to see it. And how can you say clear Seth? How can people say clear Seth when this case is an open case? Sebastian's not found. I think everyone will be cleared once Sebastian's found. But I also think someone out of this mix, out of the mix that we just said, someone is involved here. Out of somebody, my opinion. Somebody's involved. My opinion. In good faith. Because this guy's missing. And we're analyzing and reviewing what all those family members and everything like that put out themselves. How did Seth get a GoFundMe right after Sebastian went missing when this wasn't? I heard when exactly was the can someone name, because the GoFundMe's gone, but he raised a lot of money. But I'm wondering if that money was raised and then pocketed to harbor Sebastian. Hide Sebastian out. Like the money raised to hide Sebastian. Not necessarily Seth's expenses. He will never be cleared, folks. Let's get this perfect. Let's make this crystal clear, as Chris Proudfoot would say. Let's make this crystal clear. Seth Rogers will never be cleared until this case gets resolved. You cannot clear him until this case gets resolved, and law enforcement will not clear him. I have faith and confidence. I looked at an old interview with Nick Barrison, the sheriff, Craddock, the acting sheriff. I like this interview right here. Look at Craddock right here. Now, this was 5 weeks into it. But just listen to Craddock. Listen to Craddock here. He's really poised. I think he's determined. I think he's serious. Look at Craddock here. Look.
All right, Nick Barris here, and I'm with Sumner County Sheriff's Chief Deputy Eric Craddock, talking a bit about an update on the search for Sebastian Rogers. Just, this is the first time we've heard from you in a while, and that's because you guys have been busy investigating.
That's right.
Anything new to report at this stage?
No, sir.
Nothing. 5 weeks.
No, sir.
Just asking, what is being done at this point? What does the public need to know that you continue to do research?
We continue to investigate and follow up on every tip or lead that comes in.
Any evidence of foul play?
There's no evidence to support foul play.
But you can't rule it out necessarily. You're ruling nothing out at this point.
That's right. I'm ruling nothing out.
And as far as the public, what you could ask them to continue to do?
Remain vigilant. If they see something, say something. Call 1-800-TBI-FINE or 615-451-3838 with any tips or leads.
Okay. We'll have much more on this story to come.
What Nick Barris messed up on that one. I like Nick Barris. But he should have said, is there any evidence of a kidnapping? Because he just says, any evidence of foul play? No, we have no evidence of foul play. He should have said, is there any evidence of a kidnapping? I would have loved to hear Craddock's answer on a kidnapping. Because something tells me Craddock would have said something about a kidnapping. Because my thinking is Sebastian was kidnapped. And when I say kidnapped, lured, taken out, kidnapping. It's kidnapping. And really, by who? If that's the case. Who? Are arrests coming soon? We talked about it yesterday. There is now obviously there's a $50,000 reward, but also, folks, it seems like now there's other people that are jumping into the fray here, and there might be now a $75,000 reward. And it's possible, folks, in the next day or two that Dog the Bounty Hunter will be involved in this case. Now, Dog the Bounty Hunter, whether you like him or not, I think he's effective at what he does. He at least brings attention to cases. Shakes the trees, rattles the suspects, gets everyone on edge, keeps whoever's involved on notice. You don't want to play with Dog the Bounty Hunter because they got sleuths, they got watchers. If Dog the Bounty Hunter gets involved in this case, you got people being watched. And it would definitely bring a lot of more eyes to this case. So we'll see what happens with this as far as Dog the Bounty Hunter getting involved. Will it happen or not? Remains to be seen. So I'm going to end it here on this particular segment on this case. Let me know what you think. A lot of red flags. All I say is, folks, go back and listen to the interviews. Go back. Go to that channel I told you. There's other channels that are doing the same thing. There's other creators that have taken the same type of things. I'm not just pointing out that channel. There's other creators. There's other people that are picking through his old interviews. Something's up here. Something doesn't make sense. And it's a mystery. And as long as Sebastian's out there, we can never give up hope. But somebody did something. Somebody did something to this young man. And whoever did this, they're coming. Law enforcement is coming. And YouTube, you got YouTube started because YouTube creators will never go away. YouTube creators will never go away on this case. And we'll see what happens. Hopefully we get the truth. Hopefully we get the truth. I want to know the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Let's get the truth. Let's continue to provoke thought. And Sebastian Army strong. I'm Sebastian's Army. I'm not Team Katie. I'm not Team Chris. Not Team Seth. Not Team Robin Rogers. Not Team Bowersox. And whoever else I forgot here. Not Team friends of any of them in a sense. But I am actually friends with some people on some of the... Both sides. Both sides. Actually, both sides. Both sides. Yeah, people feeding me information and talking to me and stuff like that. I got sources. We got sources. When we say we got sources. So we're in the know. We're in the know. and we'll continue to share, little tidbits and thoughts and whatever's on my mind. That's why YouTube. It's my tube. Thanks for watching. Sebastian Strong. Everyone stay safe. JLR Investigates. Sub to the channel. Hit the notification button. Have a beautiful day, everyone. Back at it today for more cases, so I'll be back in a bit. True crime 24/7, 365. Have a good day, everyone. Be safe.